birthplace of America's music. This is Super Talk Mississippi, streaming live 24/7 at supertalk.fm.
Gregory Ricks is with us, Winning at Life, noon till 1 on Saturdays, and the program has already grabbed a great following. Gregory, you guys doing a good job. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Gallo.
How are you?
Oh, doing really good. Been some crazy weeks here with the market, but
that's an understatement.
Good.
That's an understatement. Here's the lead story for people who haven't followed this, and they probably are the only sane ones out there now. The stock market sell-off yesterday began with a mysterious overnight plunge in equity futures that caused the CME Group to halt trading in several intervals. The stock market sell-off yesterday began with a mysterious overnight plunge. When the futures opened for trading at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, they fell as low as 1.8%, and I won't go on from there. But your thoughts on this, Gregory?
Yeah, that overnight, I'm aware of that. And, somebody was looking or selling a large portion of their holdings or the S&P 500 there, and that caught the attention because there wasn't support there for that. That's part of why we had a big drop. One of our concerns is over the years you've had banks, the central banks of other countries like Japan, Switzerland, and the list goes on, where they've been buying large stakes in our market to support their currency. Just significant holdings, and that's part of what has driven this market up. One of my concerns, and we've yet to verify this, but are they part of this selling at this time? So if they start unwinding, that's a tremendous amount of downward pressure. Not that we don't have other problems pushing down the market, but that could possibly have something to do with that.
Let me ask you this, because I think a lot of people would ask the same question. We knew where we were financially during the 8 years of the Obama administration. We understood that. Now, where we have factories coming back to this country, where we have a more attractive corporate tax structure, where we have jobs out the wazoo. As a matter of fact, if you haven't heard this, the jobs have been posted for November. It is up 155,000 jobs.
They were expecting 200.
They were expecting 200. Well, 200, my understanding, 225, 250 is what you need to have just to stay even. But be that as it may, it's 155,000 jobs. So what's causing the slowdown? My God, gas out on the corner is $1.96. What's causing this?
Part of yesterday was telling about that as well, because Powell came out and spoke about the Federal Reserve and possibly a change of thinking. I think we're locked in for that quarter point hike coming up in a few days.
But didn't they say the other day that they weren't going to do that?
Well, they're thinking of reducing the increases. And what they said, instead of next year coming out and say there's going to be 2, 3, or 4, they're thinking about seeing how it goes and making decisions without giving you a heads up long term. And the market liked that. Okay, there's not going to be as many rate hikes. So the market did like that news. But I remember going back to that when they were doing it that way. I think that causes potentially more volatility, because what does it create? Uncertainty. Now, what's happened with liquidity is, the balance sheet of the Fed used to be over $4 trillion. Now it's under $4 trillion. So they're reducing it by $50 billion a month. So that's taking money out of the supply, which is tightening, and these quarter point hikes are tightening as well, and that's creating uncertainty. You had the House flip in the elections. That's created uncertainty. We've got tariffs. That's creating uncertainty. And we do have all these positive things going on, and the tax cuts also help the market this year. But you have uncertainty and what the Fed is doing to the balance sheet and the tightening is all mixing in.
Wouldn't, Gregory, the biggest uncertainty would be China? Of course, we had the chief financial officer of the Chinese tech giant Huawei. Her name was Ming Wanzhou. She was arrested in Canada at the request of the U.S. The high-profile arrest, which became public day before yesterday, came as the U.S. and China are set to conduct weighty negotiations about trade and tariffs over a 90-day period. So two things here. They've arrested her, apparently on some technology espionage and things such as that. I'm not sure exactly what it is. But the relationship with China as we negotiate. And then a lot of people have said, I'm not sure exactly what was accomplished with his meeting at the G20 with the president. And we know that they've accomplished at least one thing, and that's the willingness to get back together and talk and negotiate. They did have some agreements on fentanyl and the packaging thereof. But your thoughts on that? How much does that play into it?
I think it plays a lot into it because it is uncertainty. And if I was China, I would welcome a pause so we can drag this out longer. I don't think they're ready to cave. Their markets are wrecked. Their economy is slowing, and their numbers are lower than what they disclose. With that
then why wouldn't they be ready?
It's China. They don't play by the normal rules, and if you can win the game with how you're playing, well, why should we change the rules?
In other words, if their people suffer, they don't have to worry about them taking it out on them at the polling place.
No, and they're not really worried about the market.
From the birthplace of America's music, this is Super Talk Mississippi, streaming live 24/7 at supertalk.fm.